Greetings. I'm Jim Wright.
And I'm Connie Shaw.
For decades, we have been blessed to be used as instruments for uncountable numbers of God's outrageous miracles and healings around the world. The exotic nature and the extensiveness of our work would strike most people as shockingly unbelievable.
What does the new Love Nuggets program refer to, you might ask? Each brief Love Nuggets program of roughly 2 minutes to 20 minutes is usually a fun, loving, practical, and uplifting mood shifter in the face of the relentless onslaught of negative news. Love Nuggets may cause tears or laughter and can focus on touching heart openers, new selfless service ideas, new skill sets, or unbelievable miracle stories. We invite you to have fun with us. The Diamond Ring and Baba's Miracles in Malaysia. In March of 2010, the year before Satya Sai Baba left his body, Jim and I received an intriguing phone call from our Mount Shasta friend, Michael Walsh. Michael told us that upon the death of his parents, he had recently inherited the family farm in Iowa and other wealth, and that Baba had just appeared to him with a directive that involved us. Even though the hot season in India was starting, Baba had instructed him to call us right away and to invite us to come to India with Michael immediately and to stay a week. Baba also said to Michael, "Connie doesn't like the hot temperatures in India in March and will say that she doesn't want to go. But if you offer to pay all of their expenses, including airfare, meals, and lodging, and if you tell her that I said I would give her a special blessing, she will agree to come to India," which was all true. Shortly after our arrival in the Prashanti ashram, Swami manifested for me a lovely 4-diamond ring in a gold setting, with the diamonds arranged in a diamond formation. What made the ring extra special, though, was that each stone was accompanied, he said, with its own unique gift of the Spirit. The first gift was the ability to cast out demonic spirits from people who suffered from addictions to drugs, food, alcohol, porn, and tobacco. Subsequently, to our amazement, several attendees at our gazing sessions in various countries were relieved of demonic attachments which were taken off planet by Jesus and Archangel Michael. The second gift was the ability to shift deep depression and even suicidal tendencies in extremely morose people. The third gift Baba was providing was the ability to cause stuck, unmotivated, unemployed people to be able to shift gears to obtain a good job, even though they may have lived off their parents' good graces for years. In fact, in Australia, an unemployed dentist who had been without work for 7 years while living with his parents was suddenly offered a good job in dentistry. In another case, a 40-year-old woman who is living in her family home was offered a new job in the nursing home industry. Finally, the fourth diamond represented the most unusual gift of all, which was the capacity to help young, infertile couples to conceive and to deliver healthy babies. We were ecstatic at Baba's generosity and wondered when we would again return to India in the cool season. 6 months after that eventful trip with Michael, our good friend Jaggi Roy called to invite Jim and me to visit her family in Malaysia on our upcoming return trip from India. You see, Connie, Jaggy said, 3 of our friends who are doctors have cancer, and we've been inviting you to come to Malaysia for years to give a talk, but you've always been too busy to come. The doctors told me that if you don't come pretty soon, they will have succumbed to cancer. How about if you just come for 5 days after having Swami's darshans? Just then, Swami spoke to me on the inner level and said, "Tell Jaggy that you will be happy to come and that you have recently taken some classes in a profound new healing technique called Matrix Energetics by Dr. Richard Bartlett, and that you can bring a team of 5 people and demonstrate the process to the Psi Center members when you arrive." Well, Jaggy was overjoyed and said they would start planning for our arrival and lodging right away. Little did we know that Swami would begin to confound us with 2 brand new types of miracles while we were still in India, before we had even departed for Malaysia. On the last day of our stay in India, as I was sitting in the ladies' chair section of Sai Kulwant Hall, I began to feel liquid droplets fall on my head and shoulders. The roof of the hall was set upon high marble pillars and as an open-air building which allowed fresh breezes through the hall, as well as gray pigeons to fly in and out among the crowd, sometimes dropping surprise cargoes on unsuspecting heads. As I was meditating, the woman next to me, Sandra, blurted out, "Hey, Connie, it's raining on your hair and shoulders, but it isn't raining on us. And besides, it's not raining outside the hall. How can that be?" "Oh, it's just the pigeons," I murmured. "No, it isn't," Sandra insisted. "And look, there are raindrops on your dress and all around your chair on the marble floor. How do you explain that?" "Oh, yes, that really is odd," I answered. Just then, Julie, who was sitting on the other side of me, exclaimed, "Connie, what are those perfume smells all around you? Don't you smell them? Here, bend over. They're like stacked smoke rings of fragrances, one on top of the other, but they're only around you and not around us." With exaggerating sniffing noises, Julie said, "I thought you said you didn't wear cologne or perfumes." "I don't. Since I'm allergic to the animal products they're made with. Besides, even if I did wear perfume, I wouldn't wear several fragrances all at once." Julie then said, "You know, maybe these are what the Indians called sacred fragrances. But how can they arrange themselves to be stacked in rings around you? They seem to be coming out of your chakras on the front of your body." Resuming her sniffing noises, Julie said, "Look, this one on the bottom stack is cinnamon. Then the next one is violets, which Saint Germain has talked about. Next, there's the smell of lilies of the valley. Then, here, amrit nectar smell. Then, roses. And above that, lemongrass. Oh, and finally, vibhuti fragrance, like sandalwood. How do you explain this, Connie?" Julie demanded. "Well, since these 2 things have never happened to me before, there's no way this makes sense," I said. "It has never, ever rained on my head in a temple before, and I've certainly never had stacked fragrance rings floating around me." But that was not the end of Baba's surprises. After darshan, when I was back in my room, it started raining on my head again, and there was no hole in the ceiling. At that moment, Baba, on the inner level, said very clearly to me, "I want you to telephone Albert Ong in Malaysia and tell him that Swami says to do the following things. First of all, telephone all the devotees in the area and instruct them to assemble themselves into 5 groups over 5 days. One group will be the urgent patient cases. The second group will be the chronic cases of patients. Next will be the incurable patients. The fourth group will be the big family groups, from babies all the way to grandmothers. Finally, gather together all the young, infertile couples in their own location and see them separately. Brother Albert received Swami's directive with great enthusiasm and practically saluted over the phone, eager to convey the exciting news to the area devotees. The next day, upon our arrival at the Malaysian airport, we were surprised to learn that our gracious host, Dr. E, and his wife Peggy, had purchased two brand new, matching, silver colored SUVs for our visit. One was for our team and the project organizers, and the other one was to hold Dr. E's family and the main Psi Center officers. Not only that, Dr. E had arranged with the police department to provide a full police motorcycle escort, complete with wailing sirens, to ride ahead of our two vehicles to part the rush hour traffic as we were being driven to a lavish banquet in our honor. Later, upon arriving at the spacious waterfront home of Dr. and Mrs. E, we were shown to our rooms to change clothes for the devotional singing and the 1 hour Sai Baba talk, which I would be giving. After the talk, we explained that we had recently been trained in an astounding new healing process called Matrix Energetics by Dr. Richard Bartlett, and we offered to demonstrate it. After having quickly trained a few catchers, the next thing we knew is that people were being healed by Baba of an assortment of conditions, such as migraine headaches, arthritis pain, cancer, a scorpion bite, a crying jag, family disharmony, and mysterious rashes. When news spread throughout the neighborhood that some Americans were doing miraculous free healing in Dr. E's living room, dozens of families eagerly arrived to request healings for themselves. Since we had been doing healing from 9 o'clock to 1:30 a.m., and we hadn't slept in a bed in 3 days, Jaggy announced that we would be able to have about 4 hours sleep before getting up early in the morning to drive to various venues to do healing work on assembled groups. The first stop was to be at Jaggy's mother's house, where 15 infertile couples were expectantly awaiting our arrival. I had no idea whatsoever how to deal with 30 infertile teenagers. As soon as we piled out of the van and entered the cool precincts of the crowded bungalow, I prayed desperately for inspiration. Immediately, a slight, charming, 19-year-old boy stepped forward confidently and gazed at me hopefully with a glowing face and gorgeous brown eyes. "Sairam, Sister Connie," he began politely. "I am Ravi. I need your help. My problem is, my sperm no lively. No lively. Can you help my sperm to get energy to swim up to meet my wife's egg to make a baby?" Ravi accompanied his plea with a lackluster flapping hand gesture beside his shoulders, simulating an exhausted fish trying to swim upstream. Taken aback by his direct, unceremonious request, I took a step back, blinked a few times, and slowly answered, asking Baba for help. "So, your sperm are not lively and energetic, and you and your wife want to have a baby. Is that right?" As I glanced to the side, I noticed that all the infertile couples had brought laptop computers with them. The word radiation came to mind. "Yes," he said. "Sister, Can you make my sperm lively? Carefully, I replied. First of all, in the future, all of you can help yourselves by using your laptops only on a desk or a table, okay? Radiation. Secondly, I personally cannot make your sperm more lively. Ravi looked stunned, and he nearly shouted in disappointment. Cannot? Cannot do? No, I said, patting him gently on the shoulder. But Swami can do anything. Do you believe that? Oh, yes. Nothing impossible for Baba. Right. Now you love your wife, and she loves you, and you both love Baba, and he loves you. You want to have a healthy conception and pregnancy for your wife, and a smooth delivery of a healthy child, a girl or a boy, right? Oh, yes, he replied, his optimism restored now. And, I continued, you both know how to sweetly and affectionately make love, tenderly, not rushing. Yes, he smiled proudly, we know how to do it. Then the only thing you need to add to your lovemaking, I said, is to offer yourselves each time to Baba with a prayer that he will bless you with a healthy conception, pregnancy, and delivery, and that he will guide and protect your loving marriage and family. Okay? Can do? And don't put any devices on your lap. Tell everyone, okay? It's time to do matrix energetics, Ravi. So now just relax and imagine that when I lightly tap you on the forehead, that you are toppling backward into Baba's loving arms. Jim is standing behind you, ready to catch you firmly and to lay you down gently on the mat. Ready, Ravi? Here we go. As Ravi smiled his gratitude through teary eyes, he sighed thankfully, fell backwards, and was soon out cold, along with the 30 infertile youth, face up on the floor for the next hour. Meanwhile, Jaggy, who was the last to receive the tap of matrix energetics, toppled over in the laundry room and began to hear the pranava, or Om sound, non-stop for the next 24 hours. After the 5 days and 5 venues in Malaysia, 750 people had been healed by the Lord. As we were driven to the airport, I silently asked Swami why he had not told me in advance what he was going to do through our little team. He chuckled and said, "If I had told you what I was planning, you would have gotten scared and refused to go. Sometimes I have to trick my devotees to get their cooperation. And you are not the doer. This is not your life. It is my life being lived through all beings everywhere in the cosmos." "But, Swami," I then asked, "why have you given Jim and me so much grace in this lifetime?" "It's very simple. You obey me, and others do not. If you think of me, I think of you. If you don't think of me, I don't think of you. To always get my grace, remember this: HOS. Stay humble, obedient, and surrendered so that I can help many people through you as only one of my instruments."